slope-intercept form of a linear equation. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to use slope-intercept form to graph linear equations, and also how to interpret them. First, let's talk about slope, which is the vertical change rise divided by the horizontal change run. So you'll see this a lot. Slope is rise over run. And we'll talk about this more in detail, but I always think about it as rise is going up if you're positive, and then you fall if you're negative, and then we're always going to go right, just to keep it easy. If you have 2 points, you can find the slope by doing this using the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the key thing about the slope, right? Rise is the y value, and run is the x value. So that's kind of slope. Slope just it lets you know like how steep is your graph. So this will have a positive slope, and this one like this will have a negative slope. So that's what slope is. Just okay, how steep are we walking or running down this thing? Next up, y-intercept, the point at which the line crosses the y-axis. So if you have a graph, remember this is x and this is y, your y-intercept would be the point here somewhere, which would be 0, y. So this is usually 0, y. X-intercept, similar idea. It's where you cross the x-axis. So cross this somewhere here. Anywhere on that line, actually, and anywhere on this line. That's usually x and 0. The x value, whatever value that happens to be. Slope-intercept form of a line. So a lot of people, this is a very important concept, and it's just like it sounds like. Slope and intercept, or y-intercept. It lets you know where the slope and y-intercept is. It's when you're in this form. And that form is y equals mx plus b. So this is slope-intercept form right here. Y equals mx plus b. And then what m is the slope. And what b is a y-intercept. Right? So I could look at this equations in this form and know right away what the slope is. It's the thing next to the x, right? It's not the x, it's the coefficient of x. And what the y-intercept is, it's the constant term. And we can use this thing to graph really easily. That's what slope-intercept form is good at. It's really good at graphing. It makes graphing easy. Also makes finding the y-intercept easy and the slope. But that's the benefit of the slope-intercept form. Okay, let's do a couple examples. So what is the graph of y equals 4/5 x minus 2? So first thing I'm going to find out is the two things we just talked about. What is the slope? And then what is the y-intercept? So my slope is the thing next to the x, the coefficient of x, so 4/5. Remember the way this runs, right? 4/5 is positive, so we're going to go up 4, and we're going to run 5. And I always think about it this way, right? It's either run or fall, right? Rise or run. So we're either going to rise if it's positive or fall if it's negative, but we always go to the right. The y-intercept is a constant term, so -2. If we want the point, that'd be 0, -2. Remember the y-intercept is in the form of 0, y, the y value. Anyway, once we have those 2 points, that's all we're going to need. So we're going to start at the y-intercept. So always we're going to start. So remember, the up and down line, the vertical line is our y. This is our x. We're going to start at 0, -2. So we're going to go 0 down to -2. That's always our first point. Okay, so remember, you always want to start there. Our first point's always the y-intercept. We're going to start there. And then, very important concept, from here, we're going to use our slope, right? So we're starting at this point, and then from there, we're going to follow our slope. So we're going to go 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go right 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think right here. So right, we went up 4. And we went right 5. This is show you don't have to write the 4 and the 5, but this will show you like how we went. And then we're gonna connect those 2 points. And if you want more points to make it even nicer line, you can do it again. Up 4, right 5, up 4, right 5. If you're pro, you can go the opposite way. Down 4, left 5. I'm just gonna connect these 2 points. Like that. Okay, so that's a concept. Let's do another one. So the next one right here, y equals -2x plus 5. So again, I'm gonna find my slope. I'm gonna find my y-intercept. Slope is next to the x term, so -2. We'll get back to that in a second. My y-intercept is 5. And again, if you want to point, that is 0, 5. Now, let's start with the y-intercept. 5. So 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. Our slope is -2. Now you might ask, wait, it's not a fraction. You can always make it a fraction though. Let's help ourselves out. I'm going to put that over 1. And then we're just going to follow our rise over run. In this case, I like to say it falls because it's a negative. So we're going to go down 2 and write 1. Now keep in mind how fractions work. If I gave you -2, or if I wrote it like this, -2 over 1, let's try to write that in the middle. Or if I wrote it like this, those are all the same. In either case, I'm still going to go down 2 and write 1, right? As long as there's only one negative, it all works the same. So let's go at our graph right here. So again, starting from our y-intercept, we're going to go down 2 and then write 1. And hopefully you notice, right? The graph's going to be, let's do another one. Down 2, right 1. This is show you can get more points. Connect them all. That's a bad connection. And I get a negative slope, right? It's going downhill. This one's going like uphill. So positive slope's going up from left to right. Negative slope's going down from left to right. So that's how you graph using slope-intercept form. Next, what if I want to go backward, give you a line, and I want you to give me the slope and y-intercept? Or if I want you to give me the equation, right? So it's actually kind of the same idea, right? Equation of a line, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So really all we have to do is find our m and find our b, and then we could type it into the equation for m and b. So first let's do the y, I think the b, sorry. Let's do the b, the y-intercept. Right, so we're going to look at our graph here. Remember, this is a y, this is our x, and then figure out what crosses. Looks like 1. So I have my b. The slope. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do the slope. So one way is just do rise over run, right? So slope is rise over run. And actually, let me take a step back. No matter which way you do slope, there's always one thing you have to do for sure, and that is you have to pick 2 points. Find 2 points. So no matter how you do the slope, you have to find 2 points. When I say points, what I mean is two parts in the graph where the line crosses nicely. So like I wouldn't use like here because I have no idea where that's crossing. But I could use like right here. That crosses nicely. Or maybe, I'm not sure if there's not a lot, like maybe right here. It's an estimation, I would say. I'm gonna use this point right there. You're like, oh, that's only one, right? What's my other one? Well, the other one's a y-intercept in this case. Not always, but in this case, I wouldn't use a y-intercept. Now I have my 2 points. What do I do next? Well, one way to do it is to use rise over run. So never, when you read a graph, much like reading a book, you're gonna go from left to right. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna get to this point. So the way I do it, I'm gonna fall 1, 2, 3, then I'm gonna run 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we went down 3 and over 4. So my slope would be -3 over 4. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is actually find the points. So this one here would be -1, 2, 3, 4, -4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one is 0, 1. And use our slope equation, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you remember this from earlier in the video. So one way to do it is to use rise or run. The other way to do it is actually find the 2 points, and then we'll substitute into our slope formula. I'm gonna do this right now. Now when you do this, it doesn't matter which one's x1 or y1. The key thing to keep in mind is that one pair is x1, that's an x1, and that's a y1, and the other pair is x2, y2, right? So like they're both either set of points 1 or set of points 2. And then I'm going to plug them in. So this is 1, and this is 0. And this would be 4 and -4. Nice, so just typing it in the way I see it. So over here I get 1 minus 4 is -3. Over here I get 0 minus -4. 2 negatives make a positive, so it's +4. And I get the exact same thing. So it does not matter how you do it. Either pick your 2 points and do rise over run, or pick your 2 points and plug it into the formula. Either way, my slope is 3 over 4, and I have my equation. Y equals -3/4 x plus 1. Okay, next one is make sure we got this. So here's my line, right? I want to put it into this formula, y equals mx plus b. First thing we're going to do is find our b, our y-intercept. So again, here's our y, and it crosses, looks like at -2. So -2. And then to find our slope, we're just going to find 2 points that cross nicely. So I'll use the y-intercept again, and then the other point that crosses nicely, I'll say, is right here. We're just going to do rise over run this time. It's a little faster. So I'm going to go over 2, then I'm going to go up 1. So keep in mind, right, rise over run. So 1 over 2, not 2 over 1, right? So slope is rise over run. In this case, we did rise. You know, we ran first, right? So I went right 2 first, so 2, and I went up 1. I guess you could have gone up 1 then run. Either way, I get this as my answer. And that's how you find an equation given a line, right? You give them a line, put in a slope-intercept form, which means you have to find the slope and the y-intercept. Start with the y-intercept first, generally. Next, what if I don't give you a graph? How are we going to find the equation that passes through these 2 points, right? So if I give you 2 points, how do you find the equation, right? So we're going to use our slope-intercept form. We want to plug into that. That'll make our equation. So step 1, we're going to find the slope. How are we going to do that? We're going to use that slope equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. As long as you have 2 points, you can find the slope. Step 2, we're going to plug in or sub in the found slope back into the equation. And then once you're done, step 3, you're gonna substitute any point into x and y to find b. Once you have that, we could rewrite y equals mx plus b with m and b. I know, wrote a lot there, sorry, but that's gonna be the process, right? If you want to put it, given 2 points, you want to find the equation first. Let's use your 2 points to find the slope using a slope equation. Once you have that, we have the slope, so you can plug your slope back into this, and now you have a new equation. All you gotta do is find out what b is. So how do we do that? Well, we have 2 equations here. Plug one of them in for x and y, figure out what b is, and once you do that, rewrite it all, and you got your equation. So let's do an example or two real quick. So first here, I have to find our slope. So again, make one x1, make one y1, make the other one x2 and y2. Our slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which in this case is going to be -3 minus 5 over -1 minus 3. That's going to be -8 over -4. Remember, they're both, all these are negative. Once they're the same, if they're the same sign, you just add them. And then -8 divided by -4, 2 negatives make a positive. So 2. So my slope is just 2. So now we're going to go back to our equation. And instead of m, I'm plugging 2 in. Y equals 2x plus b. Like that. Okay, so now we have this equation. I want to figure out what b is. So you have 2 points here, x and y. You can plug any one you want in. I'm going to use the one that's not negative because negatives scare me. So we're going to use 3, 5. Right, so I'm going to plug a 3 in for x, and we're going to plug a 5 in for y. So it's like this. 2 times 3 right here. Remember, 3 is in for x, so 2 times 3 will be 6 plus b. I want to get again, we're trying to solve for b, so let's get rid of this 6 here. So let's subtract 6 from both sides. 5 minus 6 is -1. -1 equals b. And now we found everything we're looking for. We have b, we have m. Plug it into our formula, y equals mx plus b, so y equals 2x minus 1. So that's the process of finding the equation of a line given 2 points. Step 1, find the slope. Once you have the slope, plug it into the slope-intercept form equation. And then all you have to do is find out what b is. So how do you do that? Take one of your points, plug it in. And once you have both your m and your b, you can rewrite the equation. Okay, one final thing. Let's talk about what all this means. Let's interpret the slope and the y-intercept. So here's our example. Allie received a gift card for her local coffee shop. Every time she goes to the shop, she gets a medium coffee. The graph shows a gift card balance at 2 points. How can Allie determine the number of medium coffees she can buy with a gift card if she does not know the original value of the card? Interpret the meaning of the 2 points. So she has a gift card, she's buying coffees. So what this point here means, remember our x is cup of coffees, and then our y is cash balance. So what this point here means at 2/1970, let's write it down. That means that she bought 2 cups of coffee and she had a balance of 1970. Ooh, I can spell balance correctly. Balance of 1970, right? That's how much she has left on her card. So after buying 2 cups, she has that much on the card. After buying 4 cups, she has 1440 left on her card. So after 4 cups, she has 1440. That's her balance. So that's what that means. Find the slope and interpret the mean. Okay, so to find the slope, we're going to use our slope equation. Rise or run is not going to work too great with decimals, so let's use our slope equation to get like a nice answer. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, it doesn't matter which one's x1 or y1. As long as you keep it consistent, that's all that matters. We're going to say that's x1, this will be x2 and y2. Right, as long as you have one x and one y for each point, and you keep it consistent. No issue which one's which. So for us, it's going to be 1440 and 4 minus 1970 and 2. That's going to get me negative 530 over 2, which I'll put down in decimals, is negative 2.65. Okay, so let's talk about what this means. What does a negative 2.65 means? Well, keep in mind the easiest way to understand this is slope is y over x, right? So let's look at our units here. Our y is our cash balance, so cash, and our x is the number of coffees, so coffee. And the other little trick I could teach you is anytime that line there, we're going to say per. So what this means is, what is our slope here? Our slope is negative 2.65 cash, right? That's what it is, per coffee. So right there I could tell she's spending, coffee has 2 E's. She's spending about $2.65. She's spending $2.65 per coffee. So that's how much cash she loses every time she gets coffee. So that's the cost of a coffee. So that's how you interpret slope. Slope is always easy to interpret. It's just y over x. So write your slope. Keep in mind it's y over x. So put your units, right? So cash over coffee, and the line is per. So you're just gonna be like y per x is kind of how you interpret slope the easiest way. Y per x. Okay. Use the point slope. Use the point in the slope to find the y-intercept. Interpret the meaning of the y-intercept. Another important concept here. So we're gonna go back to our equation. Y equals mx plus b. I know my slope now, right? Our slope is negative 2.65 x plus b. And now it wants to find the y-intercept, or b. So we're gonna plug in any point we want. Let's plug in our x. Let's plug in x2, y2. That thing's a little easier. So we're gonna plug in 4 and 14.40. So 4 goes in for the x. Remember, this is x and this is y. And 1440 goes for a y. It's a real life problem, so we have lots of decimals. That's just what happens in real life. It's messy. So we have that. So simplify that into our calculator. I get negative 10.6 plus b equals 1440. Right, and if I want to solve for b, we're going to add this over. So let's add 1060 to both sides. And I get b equals 25. So again, all I want is a y-intercept. So I have it right there. B is 25. That's my y-intercept. Now, what does that mean? So y-intercept always means kind of two things. You can always think about it as y when x is 0. Or you can think about it as a starting point. Those are equivalent ideas, right? So it's y when x is 0 or the starting value. So in this context, what is that? That's our gift card. That's our starting gift card balance was 25 bucks, right? You could think about it. That's how much money I had in my gift card when I had 0 cups of coffee. So either way, it kind of works. So when you think about what does the y-intercept mean, it's either the starting value of what you're talking about, the y value, or it's the y value when x is 0. So in this case, we started with the cash balance of $25 was the original value of the gift card. And that's the lesson.